Good morning, you guys. I am outside. My neighbor is cutting his yard. Everybody's kind of just like alive and awake today. So I will be starting this new thing on my channel where I will be sharing my church notes with y'all. I actually watched another YouTuber. Her name is Milena Ciciotti, and she actually shares her church notes with you guys. And because of the impact her church notes have had on me, I just thought that it would be so cool for me to share my church notes with you guys to hopefully let it have an impact on you. And it also helps me out because whenever I share my church notes with people, I have to kind of just like talk through the sermon or what I learned. So by talking to you guys about it, it's helping me. So I kind of want it to be like this double thing where we can just help each other. Now, I do want to mention that with these church notes, my intention is to never make you guys feel like I'm just trying to shove religion down your throat or anything. You guys may not even have a religion, and these notes may be able to motivate you or inspire you in some kind of way. I just want you guys to feel comfortable, and I don't want y'all to feel like I'm trying to convict you of something, and only because maybe we have different religions or believe in different things, it doesn't put you guys in the wrong and put me in the right, and or vice versa. But with talking about being comfortable and things like that, I want you guys to also share what you have learned from my church notes down in the comment section. I don't want to be the only one just giving you guys what I'm learning, but I want you guys to tell me what you've learned or how you reflected on these notes. Whenever you comment down below, somebody else may be reading your comments and they may need to hear that. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go to church, come back, share my church notes with y'all, and we'll see each other then.
Introduce a man like Tyler Perry. I can say this, he's one of the most influential people in the world. You know him from the prolific filmmaker, writer, director.
Okay, so church just ended. I don't usually come to church on my own, but I don't think I've ever gone to church by myself if I'm thinking about it. But Tyler Perry was there, and I didn't record so much of Tyler Perry because the message is the thing that everybody is there for. It doesn't matter who's preaching, if it's Tyler Perry or Joel Osteen or a homeless person. If you know the word of God, that's what matters, and that's what everybody's there to hear. But it was really, really good. Okay, let's go ahead and talk. It's time to talk about my church notes. So my neighbors are doing some construction, and you might hear them, you're gonna hear them, but I can't help it. So now, before I get into my church notes, I do want to mention that this is the first time ever that I've shared my church notes with you guys. So I am all about constructive criticism, but I'm not about that life when people just like to be judgmental and harsh and rude. So for today, for the sake of this video, let's just not focus on the criticism part, but let's just more so focus on the message that I learned today and that I want to share with you guys. And I want y'all to start y'all's own conversation so that I can like pop in there and join y'all's conversation. And helping you guys, I'm helping me, helping everybody, and we all just can help each other. I've never done this before, so please be nice. I already mentioned this. Tyler Perry was the speaker today. He doesn't usually come, but I guess he spoke at Hillsong and then he came to Lakewood. So I'm not sure what he's doing. So because he was a very important and special guest, he did sit on the stage with Joel Osteen, and they kind of just talked about how Tyler Perry's career came to be and everything like that. And he had a very interesting and heartbreaking upbringing, but it was just so incredible to hear how God was actually preparing him in the darkest of moments. Even when he was so young, like he had no idea that God was preparing him. So he did talk about dreams and anxiety. For those of us who have dreams, I would just suggest that you take the limits off of God. You can't just place limits on God, like, God, I'll let you into my life in this area, but not into this area. I'll let you into my finances, but not in my relationships, or into my relationships and not in my personal. Like, you can't just pick and choose like that. So you need to take the limits off of God. In fact, you will not see his full blessing on your life until he feels that you are trustworthy and until he sees that you have surrendered everything to him. So when it comes down to having godly given dreams, you know it's a blessing from God whenever you go to sleep thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it, you go to work and you're thinking about that dream, and you try to shake off this dream because you think it's not good for you, and it's still there and it's persistently constantly there because God will not allow you to move on with your life unless you fulfill that dream. And one important thing to remember is that whenever God gives you a dream, it is yours. It's not your mama's dream. It's not your brother's dream. It's not your sister's, your cousin's, or your best friend's dream. So everybody else in your life, no matter how important they are, they do not understand your dream and how you are going to approach it and what skill sets and qualities you have that make that dream yours. God gave it to you because you have certain characteristics and you have certain gifts and talents that the person sitting to your left and the person sitting to your right does not have. So God gave it to you. However, a lot of people feel that they have a dream and they're not hearing anything from God. They just feel like they're trying to chase after this dream and they're just struggling and they keep hitting obstacles and it's just not being made possible. And because they're not hearing God's voice, they just think, God, what is happening? Like, I thought you gave me this dream. I thought you wanted me to pursue it. But let me tell you, sometimes when you're not hearing God's voice, that is when he is closer to you than he ever has been. You may not be hearing his voice because he is pruning you and he is preparing you and he's giving you the freedom to make your own decisions, to see how you're going to handle the situation and to truly see if you are trustworthy. So talking about dreams and going back to Tyler Perry's message, he was really focusing on people who have found anxiety during a great moment in their lives. And when I say great moment, I mean you have this dream and you've been going after it and you were hitting all of these obstacles, and months after months and years after years you have finally reached this dream and you feel like you've hit its full potential, and then anxiety starts to set in and then you start to get worried and you start to ask all of these questions and you start to feel like you're not qualified, like the dream is not supposed to be yours, like there's many different people out there who can be doing it better than you can. And let me tell you that whenever you have this anxiety, any kind of anxiety, you are hindering yourself from pursuing your dream at its full potential. By being in this negative state of mind, you are not allowing yourself to receive the blessing that God has put on your life. And I don't know about you guys, but that's one of my biggest fears, not knowing or not going after the true dream that God has put in my life. So what do you do? What do you do when you finally take off, you go over the obstacles and you hit this roadblock where you just have overwhelming anxiety? So at this point, Tyler Perry referred to Genesis chapter 22, in which the Lord was telling Abraham to go up to the mountain and sacrifice his son Isaac. So they're walking up the mountain and they're being led up to this higher place where everything seems great, and they're going up to this mountain. They're doing everything that the Lord has told them, and Isaac is being led by his father, this person that he trusts and this person that he would give his life for and this person who he owes his life to. And it seems like his dad is just leading him to greatness. But once they get to the top of the mountain, Isaac kind of just questions and he says, "Hey Dad, I see the tools and I see the wood and I see the fire, but where's the sacrifice? I don't understand. We were supposed to come up here to make this sacrifice. We've been climbing and we've been doing what the Lord has been telling us to do. We have all the tools laid out for us. God has given us everything we need, but where is the sacrifice? Why are we in this moment? What are we doing? Who is supposed to be here? What, who, what, when, where, why?" He just had so many questions, and it led to this place of anxiety and stress and worry. So I don't know what season you are in your life, whether you're a freshman in college, whether you're in middle school or high school, or whether you are an adult watching this video. If you are in a place in your life where you have been trying and going through it to just get to this great moment that God has led you to, and you just reflect and you say, "I have everything, but where's the sacrifice?" Let me just go ahead and tell you that you are not the sacrifice. You are not the compromise. You are not the one that's going to die. You are not the one that was meant to lose sleep, that was meant to cry yourself to sleep. You were made with God's hand on your back. God intended for you to go to sleep and have a good night's sleep every single night. God intended for you to wake up happy and motivated, and guaranteed it's not going to happen every single day and every single night because life happens. But knowing that those stresses and those anxieties are not for you to have, that flips everything around. So what did Abraham say? He looked at his son and he said, God himself will provide the sacrifice. I mean, keep in mind, this man was told to take his son up to a mountain and sacrifice him. And the fact that he is just so calm, that shows how much faith he had in the Lord before he even had time to react and say, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to kill my son. Why are you ordering me to do? He lived with no anxiety. How do I know that? Because in Genesis 22, before Abraham and Isaac went up, he told the people, he said, we will be back to worship with you. So how did he know that he wasn't going to sacrifice his son Isaac? Well, he knew that because he had trust in God. So imagine you being able to approach or confront any situation knowing that the stress and anxiety, you're not going to come across that. Can you imagine, like I myself, I have a lot of stress in my life, but just winding down and telling myself, hey, this stress, you were never meant to feel it. This situation, it was never meant to arise some stress. And those are the exact type of situations that God puts you in to see how you're going to handle it. But whenever you bring those questions and all of that worry upon yourself, you are taking matters into your own hands when that decision and that power was never meant to be yours. So what do you do now that you know that you are not the sacrifice? Well, you go up and you worship. Just like Genesis 22 says, you go up, you climb, and you maintain. You hit your obstacles, you hit that anxiety, you hit that stress, but you keep climbing, you climb above it, and then you maintain. The Lord asked Abraham to go sacrifice your son. Before he had time to react with stress and anxiety, he kept climbing and he maintained his submission and his obedience to God, and he prayed and he worshiped, and then the situation and the sacrifice came to pass. Guys, everything is going to be okay, and you know it because in the Bible it says that it will come to pass. Just stop yourself, take a second and breathe, open up the Bible or open up a sermon and just tell yourself, this stress was never meant to be mine. I feel like our generation, we just have so much stress and so much on our plates that it's almost as if you don't have stress, or if you're not running around with your head cut off, then you're not being productive or you're not doing anything worth anybody's time. That is not true. So that very thing that you're worried about, you do not understand. You don't understand. It's not going to be understandable, but God will provide. And that is just a hard thing to grasp in your head. So you need to surround yourself with people who understand and who believe that God will provide, because doing it on your own, that's very difficult. It's a very difficult thing to believe without having any doubts, and I'm being honest. So I hope that encouraged you guys somehow. It kind of felt good to talk through my notes because it helps me understand it a little bit better. And because I'm speaking it to you guys, I feel like I have to take my own advice and listen to the things that I'm saying, which I'm not mad at it. So if you guys have any prayer requests, leave them down below and I will be praying for you guys, and just pray for one another. So yeah, I guess that was my first official like church notes little session. I don't know. I think it was cool. Okay. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. You did not click on this video by mistake. If this word was not meant for you today, it may be meant for you tomorrow or the next day or a year from now. Okay. But other than that, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for the support. I love you all. Mwah. Bye.